Chapter 6, Demon and Angel Magic. My final stop in my very long journey to learning my magic, the kind you call evil. It is evil, Rachael interjected. Yes, you're right, I shouldn't deny it. Well, anyways, let me tell you about Keziah Mason and... Thyme looked around, then whispered, Azothoth, the god of demons, devils, and evil. This god is not like the others. Azothoth is the true source of power for people like Thyme. All things exist by his unconscious doings. Azothoth slumbers with countless things casting magic and invoking powers to retain the eternal sleep. Should Azothoth ever awaken, everything would cease to exist, for all things are but a conjuration of his unwill. Thyme was rowing a boat across a lake. A thin mist hovered over the water. It did not impede or blur vision. The moon was high in the air, and the scene was quiet. No birds sung, no crickets chirped, and nothing disturbed the silence save the paddles pushing through the water, moving this boat ever towards an island visible in the distance. The entirety of the small island was seen. It spanned a few dozen meters across. Thyme tied the boat to a tree, then climbed out. Not much was present here. An old altar in the middle of the stones stacked upon one another formed a circle. The woman was nowhere to be seen. She should be here. Thyme examined the altar, taking in the details. A smoking, unlit candle suggested someone was recently here. He picked it up. Que saber? A woman's voice came from behind him. Thyme spun around in surprise. A robed woman wearing sandals. Both robes and footwear were of old style, maybe 17th century. Keziah Mason? Thyme addressed the old woman. Que saber? She repeated her strange words a second time. I don't understand. She snatched the candle from his hand, pointed at it, which ignited the wick. With an exhausted tone, she repeated, Que saber? A third time, and set it on the table. Rodram? She asked. Thyme shook his head. I can't even tell what your language you're speaking. It was at this point he examined her in full detail. Her robes were tattered and dirty. Her hair was unkempt mess that could not have been seen a brush, let alone have been washed probably ever. Her toenails were grotesque, curling in every direction. On her face, she not only bore countless pockmarks, but her eyes never focused. She did not wear a glazed look, but the eyes didn't match up. It was as if both her eyes were lazy eyes. Thyme decided that this old crone must be senile. Something about serving the demon god Azothoth is rubbed off on her. I can't allow whatever madness has taken her to take me. Keziah, Thyme addressed her, trying to steal her attention away from whatever strangeness she was working on. She offered no reaction. Keziah, I'm here to learn about Azothoth and you. At the name of Azothoth, the woman froze, ceasing her work. She slowly turned around, holding in one hand a jagged knife, in the other a piece of chalk. For the smallest of moments her eyes focused, looking directly at Thyme. The eyes then resumed their disorderly positions. She walked past him into a tree just a few paces away. With the knife, she cut off a flat piece of wood. She did this with ease, working some craftsmanship she has no doubt done many times. A quick glance at this tree, witnessing the many gashes and pieces removed, confirmed this. With the chalk, she drew lines on the surrounding stones. A horizontal line was drawn on the same position on each standing stone. On every other stone, a vertical line was added, intersecting the horizontal ones. In the middle of these standing stones, she set on the ground the sliver of wood. On the wood, she has drawn an elder sign. This particular elder sign looked akin to a thin tree. Thyme said nothing during this process. Impersum Actoro, the woman chanted 3 times. At this, All of the chalk drawings glowed dim at first, but by the third chant they were too bright to directly look at. It became too bright to look anywhere. Thyme shielded his eyes. When the light faded, he found himself in a very different place. Music was heard, far in the distance or close by. The music has never been heard before. The instruments were impossible to discern because the sounds they made were not akin to any instrument Thyme has ever heard. This music gave a soothing sensation combined with stark terror and a gleeful childish tone. Thyme felt the need to cry, laugh, and run in fear all in one. No wonder this woman is insane. Listening to this for as long as she must have would drive anyone over the brink of madness. Above was a night sky full of constellations and stars Thyme could not identify. No moon was present in this strange night sky. Am I even still on Earth? To the left, right, and behind was nothing. By nothing, I mean there was literally nothing there, just a blank blackness. Not darkness, but nothing. In front of him was a descending staircase made of stone that Keziah was already walking down. A chanting was heard coming from down below. The chanting was a subtle sound of gibberish. Thyme stared at the downward stairs. A faint red light glowed from that descent. He stood there, feeling the pulsating glow fill him with dread. The end of all things was down there. The nothingness behind him crept forward, threatening his very soul. With no other choice, Thyme followed Keziah. The chanting grew the further he proceeded. It was not only getting closer, but it was truly getting louder. The chanters chanted louder each name they enunciated. Yogsothoth, Hastur, Nyarathotep, Cthulhu, Azothoth. The unseen chanters from down this stairwell chanted those 5 evil names over and over. Yogsothoth, Hastur, Nyarathotep, Cthulhu, Azothoth. This time with sadness and Yogsothoth, Hastur, Nyarathotep, Cthulhu, Azothoth. This time with sadness and discontent. Yogsothoth, Hastur, Nyarathotep, Cthulhu, Azothoth. With anger and resentment. Yogsothoth, Hastur, Nyarathotep, Cthulhu, Azothoth. With madness and desperation. Then the names were said backwards, not in reverse order, but phonetically pronounced as if playing a record in reverse. Thyme felt the end of the stairs. He could not see it, but he knew it was in front of him. He saw countless stairs going down farther than his inferior human eyes could comprehend, but he knew the end was just ahead of him. The chanting was deafening, somehow right in his ears. His foot moved forward to the step that his heart knew would be at the end, and the moment his foot was set down, everything was silent and black. He was not asleep. He could not see and was not blind. What surrounded him was that very nothingness. He felt no more steps, but willed his legs to move, to push through this nothing. His foot touched a surface. He pulled his body to continue walking, and with that next step he was no longer on the stairs. He stood on a rocky surface of cliff. The sky was not night or day. It was gray, giving off no light, but not hindering vision either. The landscape was flat, going on forever, showing an endless scene of nondescript empty gray land. The cliff was overlooking a large group of hooded, cloaked figures occupying a worshipping circle carved into this cliffside, resembling an opera or auditorium dug into this place. After the hooded eyes were the minstrels, whose music Thyme finally noticed. Those minstrels were winged, amorphous, sometimes shapeless things that had unnatural arms protruding throughout their hideous bodies that performed the musical playing work for them. Past the minstrels was a thing that, upon looking at, drove Thyme to the edge of his own sanity. The body of the thing was endless in length, spanning too far for him to comprehend. It had closed eyelids all across its body. Swaying tentacles, feelers, and wispy extremities protruded all of its exterior. "What is this thing?" Thyme tried to scream, but nothing came out. His hair turned solid white from his mind, reeling into incomparable madness. "That is Yogsothoth," Keziah Mason said, standing next to Thyme. "What? How?" "Yes, my master, the greatest sleeper, is a sight to drive one mad." I can understand you." "Yes, you can. In his presence you are able to speak the true speak, and so can hear me. I've been around my master for far too long, so I can only speak the true speak. When you leave, you will once again no longer understand me. That is, unless you wish to stay with me here forever." She pointed to the hooded figures. "You may join them. Join us. Stay here and bask in his glory." Thyme backed away, without looking away from Keziah. He shook his head, refusing to accept her proposition. His mouth was agape, unable to speak. He turned around to escape this place. Only the endless flat plains were visible. She laughed behind him. When he turned back around, a small quadruped resembling a rat, but with the hands and face of a man, was present. "It shows you belong here," said the rat. "No." "You are one of the few that can channel their magic. I can teach you how to properly use it, how to properly charge it." "And lose my mind in the process? Never return home? I could never again live any semblance of a normal life?" She raised an eyebrow. "Why would you want to do that?" "You were tried as a witch. I'm sorry they treated you that way. Times have changed, you know. People don't do that anymore." She smiled. "Are you saying that if people knew we could harness their misery into a moldable force of our will, that they would accept us with open arms? The regular humans and those others that siphon their joy?" I don't know." "You know better than that, child. They would hunt us down endlessly. Stay. You don't have the magic to leave this place anyways." Thyme looked back one last time behind him to the vast emptiness, admitting to himself that she was right. He had no way back. Lowering his head, he walked back to her. Through this alien place was meaningless. She showed him the secret of time and how it worked. From here, they could traverse any direction in time as easily as a person crosses the street. They could view possible, countless pasts, and even explore other worlds while tethered to Azothoth's realm of sleep. They showed him strange alien beings while demonstrating the true power of invoking the name of Azothoth. Azothoth by himself was raw, shapeless magic, almost useless. It was the combination of any of the other four that allowed for the most enhanced magic. For example, combining Nyarathotep, the god of darkness, with Azothoth, the god of chaos. The effect of this was not only stronger, dark magic, but avenues of possibilities Thyme never thought possible. She showed him the interwoven spell of these two gods created an effect that turned a living man into a shadow on the wall, not killing him, but moving him permanently into a two-dimensional shadowed existence, forever writhing in stillness. Thyme shivered at this sight. Combining Cthulhu, the god of nightmares, with Azothoth allowed for the complete removal of one of their body and forced them into an inanimate object. Combining Hastur, a name Thyme can never invoke again, with Azothoth allowed a person to survive inside of a black hole in the blackest depths of space while forever being crushed by that black hole. Immortality is not what it is cracked up to be. Finally, combining Yogsothoth with Azothoth revived a person from the grave, but not as a mindless husk, but as a fully restored person. The process, however, made them experience rebirth in all the agonies that accompanied it. "And that is my entire story," Thyme said. "How did you get out of there?" Rachael asked. "Well, she showed me how to harness the magic of the idiot god, It wasn't that hard after that to figure it out on my own. A bit anticlimactic, I know. Now that you know how to use your magic in full, what do you plan on doing with it? Rachael asked. Thyme slumped down. I have no idea. They demand a lot from me, but they're vague in what they want. He shook his head. Now you tell me the rest of your story. But I need to know more about yours, Thyme. Rachael reached a hand out and he pulled it away. It's your turn, sister. She resisted the urge to protest. Instead, she nodded and said, All right. You know, we aren't the first twins to go through this. Keziah had a twin sister named Philomenia. I think they fight over twins because something about us is powerful to them, but I can't tell what exactly. Philomenia is the master of angelic magic. Rachael set down her backpack. She was wearing hiking boots and attire one would expect from an outdoors activist. She wiped the sweat from her brow, then drank water from her canteen. She was traveling alone. After she ate a meal, she looked at her map. The rainforest spanned in every direction. She picked up her big bag and continued walking. Eventually, she reached her destination. Philomenia Mason? She called out, but there was no response. The massive tree before her was as tall as a mountain. She looked down at a letter in her hand. You are to embark on your final step in your journey. The world tree cannot be seen by the masses. Deep in the Brazilian rainforest, if you walk for 8 hours each day while chanting what you have been taught, you will arrive. This journey can only be made alone, which you already know. You were briefed on proper instructions for provisions and survival. When you arrive, everything will become clear. We wish you luck, and may Gaia be with you. Sincerely, Lazar. Rachael put the letter and map away in her bag. She looked around. Everything was serene and calm. The world tree gave off an aura that was overwhelming. The groves on the tree within the bark, about 20 feet from the ground, formed a face. The eyes opened and stared down at Rachael. She stepped back, alarmed at the sight. What? Fear not, young one. I am Philomenia, the tree said. You can talk? You're alive? All things living are alive. No, I mean, you're a tree, and you can talk. You have a name. The tree chuckled. Yes, nobody told you, and I want it to stay that way. Only the most well-trained come to see me. So, Rachael, what is it you wish to do with your life? Straight to the point. Well, Miss Mason, I mean Philomenia, I want to help people. We have gifts and can do a lot with them. Then why not simply become a doctor if helping is your primary goal? Rachael extended her arms out. If I have power, should I not use it to help others? Are you willing to die for Gaia? What? If Gaia needed you to die, would you? The tree asked. Rachael looked around, stuttering her answer, not knowing how to answer. Yes? You do not need to worry about such a thing. Gaia will never ask that of you. Rachael breathed a sigh of relief. Gaia will never ask anything of you. Rachael cocked her head in confusion. Then why did you ask me that? If you are here, then you have studied all forms of magic, save the magic of angels. Tell me, what do you know of it? It is the purest of magic, raw good energy to mold however we need it to. And what does it cost? Well, what do you mean? The cost is the good we do. It powers our magic. Philomenia, the tree, frowned. I am going to tell you a secret among our kind we do not share. Will you keep this secret? Rachael, sitting with Thyme. What did the tree tell you? This I am forbidden to tell. I'm sorry. Thyme shrugged. I understand. I have my own secrets I can't tell. Rachael thought about what was told to her. This she did not share with her brother.
Our magic is charged from doing good, but it comes from Gaia,
the tree said.
Well, that's not a secret. Gaia is not a limitless power source. She is not a bottomless well. I don't understand. Think of magic like water. We can drink all of our water up and then have none.
Yes, but it rains, Rachael replied.
Correct. Imagine drinking more water than it rained. Magic replenishes itself, but if we expend too much, Gaia would die.
Rachael shook her head.
Are you saying that our magic is killing Gaia? It could if we were to use it frivolously. They want us to do that. The evil ones?
Philomenia did not answer the question.
No one is more connected with Gaia than myself. Why would they want the planet to die? That would kill them too. Their dark guards want that. They don't even know, otherwise they might use that against us. I think I understand.
Rachael spent weeks here with the World Tree.
And did you end up this way?
She asked the tree.
You mean, why am I a tree?
Rachael nodded but said nothing.
I wanted to be one with Gaia. In this state I can sense the whole world, everything and everyone. I am one with the world. If you are one with everything, how are there still warlocks? If you are one with your own body, how do you still have harmful bacteria in your body?
The tree asked.
But you're the most powerful being in the world. Why do they still exist? Surely you can stop them all. I love the confidence and faith you have. And yes, I do everything I can, but even I cannot stop all of them. Also remember what I said about using too much magic. I probably could root out every single one of them, but the cost would be too high. This is why Gaia needs you, all of you.
From here, Rachael continued talking to Thyme.
Angelic magic is unique. I suppose it mirrors the demon magic you described, and that it intertwines with the others, but our people use. However, there is one major difference. This power can be bonded into a caster such as myself. If I were to fully expend this magic, I could become pure energy itself. That is what Philomenia did, to do what she is. There is a purge spell we use. It obliterates evil.
And that's the spell you keep trying to use on me? Rachael looked away, refusing to answer.